copy of that one.
Oh, thank
I'm going to
you.
give you a copy of that one. You're welcome.
It's early in the morning, I'm sorry, my brain isn't working.
It's fine.
Alright, Emily, we'll start off by just telling us about yourself.
Okay. Well, my name's Emily Brady, as you can see. I'm 25 years old. I'm from the local area. You guys probably know Shamokin. I try not to say it much, but I am from there. I have a big family. I grew up with 5 sisters. Also, as you can see, I went to Bloomsburg University for both my undergrad and here for my master's. I commute back and forth to school just because it's a lot easier and it saves me money. Also because I have a dog at home and it's kind of expensive to live here with a dog. And it gives me the chance to be able to still work at my job I do. I'm a swim coach. I coach like a kindergarten to about seniors. I help out with, I'm an assistant coach, swim coach for the high school, but I'm the head coach for the youth program. So that's from grades kindergarten to 8th grade. So it gives me a nice, time to be able to go towards that. Since I really enjoy working with kids, I really like working with younger kids. Usually about 12 to 18 I enjoy. But in all ages I enjoy it. And also, beyond that, when I'm not like doing all my responsibilities that I have, I like to just enjoy like hiking. I'm a really big outdoorsy person. I like to camp a lot. Anything pretty much I can get my dog kind of come along with, since I really don't have much time to, be with her when I'm at home. So that's a little bit about myself. That not much of interesting things.
So I see you worked there at Susquehanna University.
Yes.
And it says you covered pretty much a plethora of the sports. Which one did you mostly what were you mostly at? I know you helped out with everything, but which sport maybe you seemed to be assigned to the most?
Well, I follow Mike Keeney. He's the head athletic trainer, so I follow a lot of football. So I have a lot of time dedicated to football. But I also travel with like the swim team when they go on the training trips. I traveled with the softball team when they were on their training trips. But kind of like wherever they need me, I go to, since they're not them as athletic trainers, they're not like designated to like specific sports. They kind of just like treat anybody. But yeah.
So, while you were traveling with them, did you have any injuries that you may have had to kind of take care of on your own?
Well, they were both non-sport injuries. When I went with the swimming down to Florida in the training trip, I had the one kid, he decided to go into the bay and cut his whole foot open. So I had to clean that out and determine if it was okay for stitches, and which it was. So that happened. And then I had a girl, she actually fractured one of her metatarsals in her foot while she was doing a flip turn because she got stuck in the gutter. So I had to deal with that. And then there was another kid that he was walking through kind of like the hotel, and I guess they had like a piece of wood sticking up, and he pierced his foot with a nail. So I had to deal with that too. But other than that, that was like the most major injuries. Yeah.
So from that, have you ever had any pressure from the coaches with those injuries that you had to deal with, and how did you deal with them?
Yes. Well, the head swim coach, he's a very good guy. He comes off a little intimidating. He kind of doesn't want to hear about injuries. He kind of just thinks like it's all in your head. So I had to really like talk to him about the one with the foot, the girl fractured her foot, because he just didn't seem, he did not think you could do that off a flip turn. And I had tried to explain to him well, just my clinical education. I'm like, this is what it's presenting as. I'm like, I would prefer her not to swim. I'm like, even if you had to get her in the pool, I'm like, can we just do arms? Like, I tried to cooperate with him in a way that could still satisfy him without causing her as much pain with like kicking off the walls.
This is off top, but who's the coach down there now?
Mike Tubb.
Okay.
Jerry Foley was the coach, but he
Right.
left. He's a great
Okay.
guy,
Yeah.
but
I
we'll
was gonna
intimidate.
say, I worked down at Susquehanna.
Oh,
University,
okay.
So that's why I was just wondering. I thought they changed, but I wasn't sure if Jerry was still there or not.
Yeah, he just left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so that you had that restriction and, you try to use your clinical experience and to talk. I mean, how do you handle maybe telling a kid I shouldn't say kid, an athlete, that they can't participate when they want to?
I try to be as thorough as I can be with them. I do sometimes try to make them, I try to supply them with too much information sometimes, instead of just being like, just more vague about it and being like, hey, like, this is what I'm seeing, and I just don't think it's very optional to do that right now. But I just try to explain that, like, how beneficial is it going to be for you to go back in the water right now? You're not going to benefit from it. You're in pain. I just try to, like, get them to understand of, like, they don't need to go back in the water at this instant. It's not going to make you or break you. I try to explain it in that way the best I can.
Why athletic training?
Why I like training? Okay. Well, as you can see probably from my resume, I was an athlete myself. I was a swimmer. I coached swimming from the time I was a senior in high school up until currently. I just really enjoy the sports atmosphere. I enjoy watching sports, and to think that I can get paid to watch sports it's pretty cool. But just in general, the athlete population is just great to be around. I like working with kids and young adolescents too. I like to have connections with people, and I like for people to like depend on me in a way. I grew up in a big family, so like I think that plays a role in it. Just with like always being there for people, I like to give as much as I can give in this life that I live. So I feel like athletic training, I can give in all aspects, not just treating. I can give in like mental, I can give in like advice, anything on that spectrum there.
So in athletic training, what do you think your strengths are?
Strengths.
Other than like you've been an athlete and you can relate to them on that aspect. What's another strength that you have, or strengths?
I could be personable. I like being personable. I can really talk to people. I get shy at first, but once I get comfortable with the kids, athletes, when I get comfortable with them, I can really talk to them, communicate well with them, and I feel like the athletes can come to me a lot, like just because of like my attitude. I'm a very positive person, and I like to like show them that like they can come to me and like don't be afraid, and like we'll figure out what we can for the best for you. So I feel like the athletes, they can relate to me a lot. So I would probably say they're probably some of my strengths.
Okay.
Yeah.
And building on strength, we're gonna go the opposite way. What do you think is something that is your weakness or that you need to grow with?
Confidence. Yeah, just because I've been only doing, I've only been in the clinical setting for not a full year, so about 12 months. I just think my inexperience and wanting to constantly have the answer to everything, I think that kind of gets my mind jumbled sometimes, because I always think I need to have the answer right away, and I need to understand that like I don't need the answer at that moment. Like I need to have some patience with it and like see how the pathology kind of takes place, instead of trying to tell the athlete right then and right now like what is the problem with you. So yeah, definitely one of my weaknesses.
So what do you see in 5, 10 years? Like what's your aspirations? What are your goals maybe 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, however long you see it?
Well, I still see myself being an athletic trainer. I would really like to get into like the military aspect, like working with the military if I could in a way. I know they just started, I've been like researching it, and they just started like athletic trainers with them. And I would really like to get into like an academy per se. But I still want to work with athletes, but in a different way. Just because like, later down the road, 10 years from now, I think it would be better to just have like a more set hourly job rather than not knowing when I'm going to get home tonight because I want a family eventually. But I don't want to give up on this field in general, so I figured I could accommodate to, you know, a different area that would be a 9-to-5 job.
Looking at your resume, pretty much your experience mostly is with college athletes.
Mhm.
Are you looking to also branch into high school and deal with that aspect a little bit differently than the college, or are you looking to stay college?
I really would, I'm going to try my best to stay college, but I wouldn't mind working in high school. During my undergrad, I did an internship with Star Physical Therapy, and I don't know if you guys know him. He was part of this program, Jordan Bethelon. I worked with him a lot, going to like high school and working in the high school events. And that was, I enjoy high school athletes. I just find myself wanting to be in a more college aspect. But it's not nothing against high school.
Understand.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Understandable.
Oh, boy. Well, you know, looking at this, so, you know, you talk about down the road, you're looking 9 to 5 potentially. What, you know, how is your time management? Looking at here, you're in school, you have to do your internships through Susquehanna University, you're trying to coach. What, you know, what are your time management skills in that, you know, trying to do all this within maybe an 8 to 10 hour period?
Yeah. Honestly, I get that question a lot, and sometimes I just tell people I really don't know how I do it. I just kind of like make it work. I try to plan, I don't try to plan monthly or daily, I try to plan weekly. So like if I'm going to be a little late for swim practice, I let them know. Or because I pretty much have a set in stone, like, I pretty much a set in stone time frame that I know I'm going to be at Susquehanna about. And I also explain to them that like, hey, like I'm a swim coach, but I still do my full duties at Susquehanna first, because that's my biggest priority. And then everything after that for swimming, if I have to be late, they understand, but I still provide them with the workouts for the week to get them started until I'm there. I wake up early, so I have more time to kill with my days. But yeah, commuting is a big part, because I commute from Shamokin to here, and then I commute from here to Susquehanna, and then I commute home. So it does take up a little portion of the day, but, you know, somehow I make it work. Coffee's like my best friend, so.
As it is mine.
Yes.
But I'm just old, so. So in that, it sounds like you've tried to make, how do I want to say this, make contingency plans for if you're late. I mean, how do you feel about situations where you're, as an athletic trainer, a lot of times our time is not dictated by us, it's dictated by how long a coach. Maybe that 1 minute left to practice and there's that injury, and now we're going to be a half hour, 45 minutes late because we're dealing with something. How do you cope with situations like that?
Well, I just try to do my best with, if I know there's an athlete that got injured, I would tell swimming like, hey, like I'm not gonna make it today. Like there's other coaches there on staff, so like I just let them know a heads up, and they're really understanding about it. But yes, a lot of times I expect to get out there at a certain time, as we all do, and a lot of times we get stuck there with athletes. But I don't let it affect me. Like if I can't make it, I can't make it, and that's just how it is. I don't try to let it like consume me, or I don't try to rush the process. Like I just try to do what I have to do at that moment, and then everything else after that, I take it and I get there as I can.
I'm looking at our time, so I'm not sure how I'm allowed to go over when we really started. So it looks like our time is up. So I'd
I
say
have one
last
more
question.
question.
Yeah, the
one
last
more
question.
So
Just say last question.
we're gonna ask one more.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if you had to pick one item in your athletic training bag that describes you, what would it be and why?
Okay.
Oh, this is stumped her.
Yeah. It's probably so random, but probably heel and lace pads. Just because when you use heel and lace pads, you kind of use it for like the comfort of the athlete, and just like kind of for a preventative reason of like the friction and everything. And I personally like to do that. just in all my aspects of the athletes, when an athlete presents to me with just some muscle soreness, or impingement syndrome. Like a lot of times I work with a lot of the swimmers too. And instead of just coming in and fixing it at that moment, I like to continue it. Like I tell them to come back in and things we can work on, like strengthening wise and like mobility wise. Like I try not to just have them come in and step in just for a quick fix. I try to get them to come in recurrently so we don't keep on having this problem over and over weekly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've got to get her to HR now and
Yeah.
talk about good things.